linear time. It's been 50,000 years since Steven Zapata's final art stream, but we still live in a golden age defined by the gifts his stream bestowed upon mankind. Faster than light travel, eternal life, Steven cloning, and the keys to a truly galactic human civilization. My name is Stave Satapaz, a reminder clone of Steven Zapata, an exact reproduction of his personality as constructed by an AI compiling millions of hours of his original art streams. By all accounts, I'm exactly like the original Steven's public persona, just more muscular, exactly as he would have wanted. I travel the stars on my light tracer, a dream of Steven. My crew is, of course, all clones of Steven. Some of my officers are reminders like me, but not all. Some are bioclones, and yet others are aspectoids, clones who, instead of trying to capture his full essence, amplify a particular portion of the original Steven's personality. We've spent hundreds of years drawing, exploring, and philosophizing while snaking our way through the stars, spreading the good word of design. But we've had another, secret mission as we've cruised the cosmos. I seek information on the legendary originals, Steven Zapata's true drawings that he flung wide across the stars at the end of his life on Earth, never to be seen again. My crew thinks I'm looking for them for the same reason all the other madmen do, because they would be valuable beyond all reason. But they don't know what I know, that a critical mass of originals in the hands of a trained reminder can provide a psychic link to the original Steven mind. Once I collect enough, I'll be able to fulfill my destiny and achieve psychological continuity with the original Steven. And through me, he will live again to usher in golden ages of art forever. Drawing Ascendant, the eternal chronicles of Steven Zapata. Lasting Legacy 1, Epic 1.
Who's that, Steven? It's Gamghoul Steven!
How you holding up out there, Stave? I'd say considering I'm fighting a Steven who doesn't draw, I'm doing alright, really. Ha! Just try to keep everyone entertained while you try to keep your head. I need more time in Cathar Steven's palace. I know the god graphite is here. Somewhere in here. If I only knew where. Hey, no rush, man. I got this guy on the ropes. Trust me.
Yeah! Lucina Thunder, Duneja Madito, Dunya, Nanyata Da Giata.
What? What? It's Incanthia, great sword of the Black Fountain. He really does have it.
Yeah, Nitroya, Nitsuyo Tufu, Gimya Tanta, Ata.
This is a dream of Steven. Stave, are you there?
Steven, you got to the ship. How do you get past the blockades?
Nothing the dream couldn't handle. But they're on me, and we're coming in hot. I'm gonna get you out of there. Do I have clearance to murder some citizen Stevens as I strafe the arena?
Soon, but not yet. Sturvin needs more time in the palace to find the god graphite. If you attack now, all the guards watching my execution will rush back to the palace to secure Cathar Steven. So give him the runaround until I get word from Sturvin. The god graphite! Finally! Oh, it's beautiful! Well, yes. Come to Sturvin. Hold on. No need to rush there, little Steven. You and I both know Stave wouldn't want you to get sloppy and spill any of that, would he?
Come in. Oh,
Hello, Joseph, is it?
hi, Dr. Zapata. Yes, Joe. How are you?
I'm well. What seems to be the problem, Joe?
Well, I'm having difficulty drawing from imagination.
Oh, Joseph, just so you know, that's totally normal. Why don't you tell me a little more about your problem? Is it that you can only draw from imagination if you're completely alone?
Doc, I can't ever draw from imagination.
What about if you're completely relaxed?
When I'm totally relaxed, I can't imagine a thing.
I see. Joseph, it's important to know that even with severe cases like this, there's always hope. I can prescribe an experimental therapy called Form from Imagination.
Form from imagination?
It's early days, but clinical trials are extremely promising. Why don't you try this for 6 months and then check back in with me?
Okay, I'll do whatever it takes. Did you just draw this?
Oh yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. Hey, Doc, do you ever have trouble drawing from imagination?
Oh no.
You wouldn't. I mean, you drew this.
That's right.
Wow.
Form from Imagination is an experimental therapy and is not yet approved for use by the FDA. Do not use Form from Imagination if you are already taking any prescriptions for drawing from reference, working side size, or tracing photos you didn't even take. Stop taking Form from Imagination if you experience any of these side effects: loss of interest in your personal projects, megalomaniacal self-confidence, hallucinations, unless they're the kind you're hoping for, drawing better than Steven Zapata, or feelings that purchasing the course was enough and you don't really need to do the exercises. Call your doctor if you have stiff gestures, flat forms, or boring ideas to address a possible life-threatening condition. Full sketchbooks have been reported with Form from Imagination and medicines like it. Other risks include long-term art careers, too many clients, and being worth more than you're charging for. Call your doctor today and ask about Form from Imagination. Now, a lot of people will tell you that Thursday is not a day for drawing. They'll say the days for drawing are Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, some Sundays. But a lot of people will say Thursday's not on that list of drawing days. I'm here to tell you that those people are completely wrong. And you're supposed to draw on Thursdays too. Even on Thursdays. Hello, Cyan Knight, 35-3D, Steven, Hawkins, Twoney, Zella Faye, Boxer Wing, Arturo, Rappy, Nova Cloud, Casey, Zella Faye, Cyan Knight. I already said hi to Cyan Knight. Chuck, Bacon, Bro Fro, Philip Coach, 909J, Poor Gamers Lobby, Mao, Sheen Deiru, Luke LaFontaine, Care Blair, Arturo Vado, Vivid Lupe, Mark Wheeler, Moshin Nakvi, Aerosol Doll, Bacon Brofro, I already said hi to you, Bacon Brofro, Gemmel, Leaf Veiled Boy, Mato, Somewhat Ape-like, Michaelas, and of course, we can't forget, Pro JP Court. We simply cannot forget it. So you got to draw. You get to drawing. You don't mind me. You don't let me get in your way. Please, don't let me get in the way of your drawings. Not at all, please. Oh no, was I drawing on the background there? Yes, I was. Always working on the wrong layer. Be on my floor plan layer. Dear people. Hello, Tater Productions. Hello, Ed D. Liu. Hello, Gleb Artishevsky. Intoxicated Flip Flop. Sandra. Hello, Lev Art. When will you participate in YouTube boxing? You would be a good match against KSI. You know, I'm really more of a pacifist type. Not much of a fighter. But if it came down to it, and it had to happen. So to answer your question, when it's absolutely necessary, then I'll participate in YouTube boxing. Only when it's absolutely necessary. Heyo, heyo, heyo. Heyo, yo, yo. Taking a break for 2 days to drive to my vacationing spot. Nice. Durable gouache paint in the wilderness should be a good time. Very, very good. Get that gouache painting going. Live that gouache life. Did I indicate any statues in this one? No, I did not. I'll stop and go draw in Photoshop. I like to be on streams and draw. That's what it's all about. It's like, you're not going to listen to the stream if you're not drawing. That'd be weird. Now, that'd be crazy. It's a hot one today in New York again, folks. We got back up to 90 degrees here in New York. That's how it always goes around here. You think the heat wave's over, but it always has an encore. It always comes back on stage. Plays a classic. Plays a classic temperature. Hello, Anthony. All right, so let's that can be its own thing. Make that round. Put that over here. Floor plan close enough is what I would say. What are you working on? Frames, frames, frames. Why? I can't move that? That's not true. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. I know I can move that. Just put that up over there. And let us begin to repair this sketch. So I think something like that. More like what I want. Today's definitely a work stream. Trying to get stuff done. And maybe a shorter one as well. I think I can only go a couple of hours. And then I gotta run, because I started streaming late here. I was going to draw. I wanted to stream, so here I am. And I also... What is this? This is the third for the week now. Yeah, third stream for the week. I will probably still stream tomorrow. Go over the 3. Put down my thick hatches for vanishing points. And let's reconstruct some of this stuff. Not going to try to get the perspective perfect here. Just going to rebuild the sore thumbs. And just have a base for if I want to get it super right, but I mean, come on. You never get perspective completely right. Steven, have you ever felt like you're in that limbo where your sketch is far better than your rendered piece? What's your take on that and how to flip that around, making a good rendered image? I used to feel that way. I don't feel that way anymore. Now I feel the opposite. Now I'm pretty confident my rendered pieces are way better than my sketches, which is its own particular little hell to inhabit, because then the back of your mind is always trying to remind you to finish everything. It's going to be different for everybody. I think the first question you need to ask yourself is, do you even like rendering? Do you actually care about rendering? A lot of people practice rendering, try to render pictures because they think they have to. They think that that's the way to impress their friends or make their dad think that they're very good at drawing because their dad only understands drawing in comparisons to does it look like photography, or you think it needs to be in a portfolio, you think it is what the industry demands, and you've never stopped to ask yourself, do you actually like rendering? Do you care about rendering? And I don't mean just do you like other people's pictures who have rendering, right? There's a distinction between the art that you like and the art that you want to make. You can like whatever, but you need to be very clear in your mind about the difference between what the stuff you like and the stuff you're actually interested in making. And you need to get very serious with yourself and figure out, are you actually interested in making rendered images? Or does that not align with your temperament at all? If you do like making rendered images, if you find that you do after a lot of soul searching, then you need to find a way to keep rendering fun the whole time. And that's going to be different for every artist, but that is the path. So I can only speak for myself, but for me, rendering is fun. I force it to be fun. One of the main ways that I do that is that I don't plan super tight before I render. That way, there's a lot of exciting form details for me to discover in the render, which keeps me going through it. So I keep my sketches rather light. I use not a lot of references or no references, so that I get really bored if I feel like the job of me rendering is what that job is me recreating something that already exists in a reference. It's like, that only gives me enough juice for like 15 minutes, you know, and it takes way longer to render something. So if there's nothing on the table, if I'm not trying to recreate anything, and if I don't have a solid plan, that makes me feel like I'm doing a high wire act. That keeps me excited. That keeps me discovering new things all throughout the 100 hours or whatever that it might take to render something. That doesn't mean it's going to be right for you. You need to find what's right for you, but that's what works for me. We're going way outside the cone of vision on this one. Skewed cone of vision. Both vanishing points are within the composition here, so that we get a really wide, informative look at this space on first blush. You can see out here, I'm completely outside the cone of vision down there. Take this off. And that will be so I've got to reduce the scale on all of my foliage here. I'm going to pull these extensions out. What are they called? It's like an extended narthex. And I gotta be careful to not make it too wide, these wings, or else they'll draw too much attention over to the corners of the comp. But I'm doing all overdrawing here, so I can always rescale. Oof, I can't even find the corner of that. That's all right, we don't need to know that far corner over there. We will just do it with a random shorter part of the rectangle. Did you study any Scott Robertson material? Did I study it? Did I study it? He taught it to me back in college. Him and Thomas Bertling were my perspective teachers back when I took perspective at Art Center. So yeah, I studied it a bit. I slaved away in those mines. I did my time. I've seen the fields. Endless fields. Nah, my cone of vision is too wacky here. I'm not going to get measurements that are useful. Back here. I just don't want to lose the skewed off-kilter energy of my sketch. So I'm slow to redo it. If the cone of vision becomes too much of a problem, I can always just do a proper construction and set a reasonable cone of vision that I can control. But I just like the layout that I got. It's Siri, you're on focus mode, and you let a call through that you mark as potential spam. What kind of sense does that make? You're telling me you don't think it's real. If my mom calls, you'll snub her. Oh, but the potential spam. Let's let the potential spam through. Hey Steven, does your course cover composition and the techniques necessary to set up a picture like you are right now? The perspective that I'm doing right now is actually in the course. Because this is nothing but vanishing points and drawing squares on the ground. This is in the course, actually. But the stuff I could potentially get into, that's not really in the course. Like, if I do crazier perspective stuff, like for example, if I tear this down and I start from station point and cone of vision, then that's not in the course yet. I might add it. This, like the sketch that I have underneath, this is just freehand sketching. This isn't really in the course. Well, I mean, the principles are happening there. It's just not explicitly packaged as how to sketch environments. Then again, now that I think of it, no, you know what? It is in the course. There's just so much in there. In a sense, it is in the course because here we go. I have this in the course. This is one of the demos in the second module.
Okay, deeper into composition. Things escalate quickly, you will find in drawing. This is as complicated as we're going to go with anything perspective-wise. It's still form, so there's useful things to learn from this. But with our primary
So the process that I use in this demo, the process that I use in this demo is the same process that I'm using. So I freehand the sketch basically just with a basic perspective lines underneath. I freehand it completely. You see, I'm not even using a ruler
trying to stay in the center
for these
mass of
boxes.
the grid where there's less distortion. I start sketching freehand at first. I follow the guidelines, but I want to focus on figuring out what I'm drawing and making it cool without worrying about nailing the lines first.
Same process. So the perspective underlay is there, but I freehand it and then I shore it up and I go through what you need to do to plot shadows, or at least to guesstimate plotted shadows, and how to figure out sort of where you are in space as you do that. So the process for this kind of sketch is not the emphasis of the course, but it is covered in a video like this one and a couple other ones that have some overlap. I don't think you're going to see anything on that far side anyway. What really matters is that one, because we want that to feel the same as the reverse here. All right, and for all of the guys that we might have in the shop, my dog just knocked out my light. She turned it off as she got into bed. Hold on, I just gotta move it so she's gonna do it again. Oh, you little punk. Don't give me that look. Don't act like I'm the one doing wrong. Hi, Steven. Do you have some lessons on hatching to describe form? You should check out my incredible new drawing course, Form from Imagination. I mean, if you get the course, there's plenty, and by plenty I mean lots of hours of instruction on hatching to describe form. You get the course. You get the course. I mean, you're confused, you want hatching, you wish you knew how to express form naturally, freely, intuitively. You get the course. You get the course. It's that simple. It's that simple. Do you think the people that build the machines can call themselves artists? Well, anyone can call themselves an artist. If you think you're an artist, you're an artist. Hate to break it to everybody, but there's no artist guild handing out official artist certificates, and until you get one, you're not an artist. We left that behind. That used to be the academy. That used to be the École des Beaux-Arts or whatever. We destroyed that. We left that behind. We all decided we didn't want that, and that was a good thing. So if you think you're an artist, you're an artist. If you feel like an artist, you're an artist. If you just have the radical gall to claim you're an artist, you're an artist. And people may hate you for it. Everybody in the world may agree you're wrong, but in your little corner of consciousness, it's the truth. So with AI, you wonder if there might be a slight boom in traditional art. It could happen. That'd be interesting, right? That'd be very interesting. I sure would like that. I'm not sure I think it's necessarily likely, but life can surprise you. Hey Steven, have your interests in what you draw content-wise always been the same, or do they grow and change? If so, when do they tend to change? This may seem like a weird answer, but to me, it seems like they grow and change, but I think if you were looking from the outside, you would say they don't. I think an outside observer would say that my tastes and my interests are remarkably consistent, but internally I feel like I've gone through seismic shifts and left things behind and things like that. And I think it's probably like that for a lot of artists. I had a conversation with my sister this morning for the Drawing Diary podcast that I'm doing on my Patreon, where we recounted my earliest interactions with art and drawing, because I don't remember them, so I had to ask my sister. And I mean, she blew my mind with some of the stuff she was telling me, stuff I don't remember at all, and that I don't think she'd ever told me, and that I just never asked about. She blew my mind. I walked away from that feeling very much like, oh yeah, it's always been the same. I haven't changed a bit. So in the reverse of these Gothic spires over here are quite a bit bigger than the foliage that is around them or near them. The course is great, and he does respond to everything as far as I can tell. Also, there's some awkward shots with dogs. There's some awkward shots with dogs for sure. And yes, I'm glad you could tell, because I'm working my butt off to respond to everything these days. I am responding to everyone in the course. I'm giving notes on everything. If you posted something in the course, an assignment, and you didn't get a note from me, even a short one or anything like that, it was not on purpose. Because if you've been following my note giving in the course, you've seen, yeah, I'm basically trying to hit everything. So you can repost it or poke me on it. It just got lost in the shuffle of the feed updating itself and things like that. Sometimes you just post right before there's a flurry of activity, and then it gets pushed into some weird purgatory realm. Ooh, if I really redesign that near edge, huh? I don't know if I like that so much. Kind of like the way that near edge was coming out. Or was coming towards us. Oh, right. I see what I did. Yeah, it doesn't need to be in line with that. We could flex the floor plan a little bit. Well, let me put more of our compositional elements in here, because I need to be able to judge a little better. Steven, what did your mother think about your development piece when you showed her? I mean, she loved it. The Last Judgment stuff, I take it you mean. She was super into it, of course. She loves whenever I play with the religious themes. We'll keep working on those soon. I'll probably go back to doing those in the next stream. For a framing element for that statue for value purposes. The global feed feature is really cool. Yeah, it is, right? I do like that in the course a lot. Just being able to see the most recent thing anyone has done across all of the assignments. Let's make this slightly bigger. Don't want to blow the scale. Don't want any individual statue to compress the space and make it feel smaller. Now let's actually get a correct multiplication for this one. My gut tells me, because we're out of the cone of vision, this is gonna suck. It's not gonna be one we're gonna want to use, but by the unstoppable power of drawing in the age of machines, is that more so relating to how people will always make art no matter what, or that there will still be some level of job security with AI? I will leave it up to the thoughtful viewer to decide. I don't know. I'm not here to tell you that I know what's going to happen with AI. I don't. Nobody does. Be cautious with anybody who pretends that they know. Ain't nobody know. I know that drawing is an unstoppable force in my life. I know that I will keep drawing. But I'm a different person than you, with different incentives, different life situation. Just because I will keep drawing, no matter how irrelevant a drawing job might be, doesn't mean you would want to keep drawing. You get what I'm saying? Oh my god. See how everything falls apart so fast when you get outside the cone of vision, man? I mean, it just completely gets obliterated. Alright, screw it. I'll just place it myself then. Well, so we know it would be extremely far gone, so anything close is going to be a lie. And who cares? And delete that. And let's just put it about where I had it in the sketch, because the power of the sketch wins over all. And I moved my VP, but I still want that other statue dead in front of it. Uh-oh. Did I delete my perspective layout? I did. Let's get that back. Back in time. Why did I do it like that? Come on, dog. That's... Alright, I gotta redo these. Forgot that in the other sketch I have these with floats off of them. How high do I want these to be? Drop it down here, get this going up. Arc over this way. Goes down to here, cut it off in the middle, over to this line, yep. Somewhere there. And then in my other scene, have this one already arching over the main walk. So if I bring this back here, let's do this guy like this. That's going to interact uglily with our big tower, so we'll see how we address those. And this is going to be in relationship with this other one back here, which is going to that corner. Yes, yes. And we'll float there. And we'll just get an arch to here. That goes yay high. Vow, vow. Vow, vow. And the middle is supposedly there, but that looks really skewed because we're out of the cone of vision. So let's just shorten it aesthetically. That'll go up and over, but that's going to be out of the comp, which is frickin' fine by me. Let that get real short. Is that right? So we got this one going. No, it's got to go here, 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 here. Say there to there. There to there. could go whoop, 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 whoop. Go up. Nice and distorted. And that makes sense because we've got a VP over here, so we should be seeing the other side of it way back on this side. Oh man, so like I was saying, because it's out of the cone of vision, when I was lying about placing that one, because we know it's got to be somewhere out here when we multiplied, this looks good up here. It doesn't look like that bad of a lie, but then when I project back to the VP, you can see that those don't multiply correctly at all. It's clear that if I put one back there, it's way closer than that one is to that one. So, but I really want one cutting across the foreground there on that side. Problem solving, problem solving. That is all doing pictures is. So let's multiply this guy by I on this side. It's like that's wrong because this space is still longer than this space, so that's wrong, but it don't look too wrong. And then if I push that, oh God, it's all the way out here. The problems I give myself. That's what I get for wanting to do a wide. I wanted to do it real squished. Should have just done a classic 60-degree cone. I might still go back and redo it at 60. Damn, this is a hard one to draw. If you're doing perspective, all of them are hard to draw. It's always hard. There's like no easy picture if you're gonna get into the weeds with perspective. It's all problem solving. I've had to do these for work so many times, and so many times I've had like the prompt for one. I'd be like, now this will be easy. This one will be so obvious perspective wise. This one will be a simple one to do. And then you get into it, and the ones that you thought were going to be the easiest turn out to be the craziest sometimes. I've had many situations where it just, the one that really should have been simple becomes the hairiest. It happens. Because it's all, you know, if you're trying to be creative, it's like every solution is a new one. You know, it's like you haven't done this scene before, you haven't done this room before. It just requires you to bank on figuring it out. So I'm just going to run one right off here. And this will just be, we'll just cut the foreground there and let that fill out. All right, well, let's say that goes, so it'll be wrong, right? Because if it's the buddy of this guy in the back, it's got to go way out here, and it should be somewhere out there. But if the edge of the comp is here somewhere, and it's just taking up the whole right swath of the comp, I don't really think you'll be able to tell, because it'll just be a mass over on the right, but it'll still feel like a pillar. So let's just say somewhere right of here. Let's put the end of this levitating flying buttress over there. And this will be gack, gack, gack. And let me test the crop real quick. So my original crop was like up to here. I don't want to do that because I want that foreground now. And the stuff on the left got too interesting on the left. So if I did the old crop, where's my, let me look at just my original sketch to get the crop that I had. So is that. So if the new drawing goes in there, so I could still block off that shape on the right. I just need to let the left side of my garden over here go off the page. How ugly is that? I mean, I could live with that. So let's do possible crop 1. Duplicate that. Get rid of that. And then let's move this out. Get this. What's the bare minimum I can go? I'd be getting that edge over there. Just referencing my other frame. And the top cuts off a little bit cruelly. All right, and let's say possible crop dose. All right, let's get rid of those guys. For environmental pieces like this, how big in canvas size do you need to go typically? Usually I deliver like 5K. But if there's a bunch of perspective work to be done, I usually work on a really oversized canvas like this so that I can put notes out on the side, do vanishing points, do measurements and proportion guides and things like that. At least at the beginning. I'll crop it down later when I don't need that stuff anymore. Hi, Kevin. What up? Oops. Steven, are you using cheats again? Always. CSP switching models to subscription feels like a betrayal to me. Not going to lie about that, but I do recognize that you cannot update a software forever with a one-time purchase. Yeah, I mean, business is going to business. I hate to say it, but they're not out here to be your friend, your buddy. What about ZBrush? ZBrush went with Maxon recently. Or was bought by Maxon, right? And ZBrush was, you bought it once and you got all the updates. They never promised it. There's people out there who understand the ZBrush culture better than I do, but as I understand it, they never promised it, but everybody got it. You could download all of the updates to ZBrush that came out, and I take it that's going to be over now. Thank you, N. Suarez. Yeah, a little different. We're doing frames, we're doing frames. Let's indicate our foliage down here. Let's see where we need to go to. Foliage here, foliage, 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 foliage. Stephen, how long would you recommend studying art a day? Less than the most you could do. Don't burn yourself out. Whatever you find is your maximum, drop that time by like 1 or 2 hours and try to do that every day. Do not base every day on trying to do the maximum amount of art that you can. You're going to ruin your life. You're going to break your body. And you're going to rot your brain, and you're not going to make great art. You're really not going to make good art. You'll be too exhausted. And then you'll get resentful and sad and bitter. And you would make such better drawings if you were just rested. something there. And at this crossing, we're supposed to have the reflecting pool start. And I need to find a place to put more. Well, I could place the foliage later, I guess. Let's not do it quite at the same level because that seems a little on the nose. Let's put it like here. Going back downtown this way. And let's eyeball how thick or thin we want that to be on the other side. That's probably way too thick. It would be much thinner than that. But then if I add stuff to these sides, it'll become a nightmare to squeeze it into that compressed space over there. Let's open it a little here so it's not so tangent to that thing, but I don't know how thick I'm gonna make those things anyway, so I'm screwed. Problems, etc., etc. I will not let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And what am I gonna put in this middle thing? Maybe some sort of Nike of Samothrace figure here. Foliage, foliage, foliage. Use the foliage to hide all problems. What movie do you love for the art but hate for everything else? What movie do I love for the art but hate for everything else? That's a good one. I don't know. If the art's really actually good, I'll genuinely like the movie just for that. Because I'm an easy customer for art, you know? So just because the story's awful doesn't mean I won't completely dislike it. Let me think. You know, I have to admit, I think it's hard to remember because they're probably pretty forgettable by definition, those movies, you know? They've sort of they've gone in one ear and come out the other, flown out the other. I feel like in general, and some people will probably disagree with this, but I think that the general quality of bad art in the professional setting, like movies and stuff like that, I think not bad art. I think like mid-level art, the art that's winding up in just about every movie, is better than mid-level writing. So it's like most movies, I feel like, have pretty good production design. Even if it's not sci-fi or fantasy, their production design is pretty good. and most movies look pretty good. But I would not say most movies are written well. I think most movies kind of are uninteresting and suck. Good question. I wish I had a better answer off the tip of my tongue, but I don't right now. Not gonna get too obsessive about those things until I actually draw a couple and design them. Let's pull these guys forward because this feature got big and interesting enough that it doesn't need to get hamstrung by, oh god, look at the lag on my lasso tool. I don't know why that always happens when I'm streaming. It's pretty intense. I don't need this to be right in front of the vanishing point anymore because it got pretty big. Let's just make it interesting. Let it control its part of the frame. Is this client work? Oh god, no. Can't do client work live on the internet. If only. If you could do client work live on the internet, every artist you know would be doing it. Excluding, of course, private commissions. Just, you know, little commissions for individuals, for private citizens. That you could do live on the internet. But, like stuff for companies, you can't do that stuff live on the internet. You can't do that stuff live on your internet TV show, on your public access internet TV show. You can't do that live on your public access internet TV show. That's a breach of NDA. I gotta turn my fan down. Bother me, fan. I guess almost the entire last season of Love, Death, and Robots fits this category. Amazing art. Not so much can be said about the rest. I only watched Jibaro. I have not seen the rest of the last season of Love, Death, and Robots. I definitely suffer from a strong millennial ennui. Boomers and Gen Z, feel free to make fun of me. But yeah, I'm definitely a classic millennial. I'm just like, everything sucks. Well, how come it's not very good? That's definitely my standard starting position on everything. I have to remind myself, like, hypnotize myself every day. Like, it's okay, Steven. All right, you're being cynical. Don't be cynical. Come on, Steven. Catch the cynicism. I'm a millennial New Yorker from Queens. The cynicism is pretty strong. Have to fight for my positivity, I'll tell you that. Hold on, I need to look for a reference for the front of this thing. Anything off Notre Dame or the Milan Cathedral should do. Is this a set piece for the Zapataverse? Oh, I have an aunt in Connecticut, so being cynical is a thing in those places, and I was getting it personal. Yeah, don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. It's definitely a Northeast United States thing. We're definitely I don't know if everyone from the Northeast of the U.S. would agree with me, but we definitely have a subculture of like, we are raised, and the language that we learn to use is like, we only know how to talk about things negatively. Like that's how we're raised. Like, we don't feel, I see it in like my family and stuff like that. Like, as soon as you're asked to say something positive about something, all anyone has to say is like, that's great. But then once you could say everything about it, you're like, yeah, well, isn't this thing a little shit? And what about, can you believe they said this? And I don't know what they're going to think about it. You know who would hate this? Your brother. He wouldn't like this at all. Like that, it's like, if you're going to talk hate and criticism and how something's not good enough, we have tons of language for that, tons of cognitive overhead for that. And it's unintentional, but I think it definitely like colors how we perceive and interact with things, for sure. Yeah, it's real. Definitely real. I'm not finding exactly what I would want. I'm not finding a good reference off the bat. Don't want to look too long on stream, since that's kind of lame. So let's just lay in kind of whatever. And I'll go hunt for some appropriate reference off stream later. No, that's not quite right. I thought I had saved something onto my desktop that looked like that screen that I want in the front, but I lost it. Was it this piece of Notre Dame? That doesn't look like what I want. I don't know, I gotta find something specific later. The great thing about drawing Ascendant is that I can just use the sketches. Oh man, that's the great thing about just doing it for fun for yourself, is that I don't need to go through the nightmare of rendering out this architectural monstrosity. I just needed to read in the sketch, and I can literally just use that in the production. It's like, that's the standard we've got. That's the expectation that I've set. I love that. Just get to have fun and not worry about needing to rend my mind on it for weeks. I don't like this square profile. That doesn't feel very gothic. Or this square floor plan for that tower. That feels more Romanesque. Let's do a like hexagonal. I got all my perspective gack in the way though. But in art, Steve, do you feel that there are good and bad in art, or is it just taste, or there is good and bad taste for art personally? No, I mean, I'll mess around and I mean, you may hear me sometimes mess around with ideas of taste and things like that, but speaking honestly, no, I don't think there's any, I don't personally think there's any objective good or bad or way to objectively say this person has bad taste or anything like that. If you like it, you like it. And I think that that's pretty invaluable. Like, I don't see how you could argue against that. I mean, there's just no getting around that, you know? It's got to be that way. We can still argue about taste and things like that and use that language. I think that's healthy to do as long as we all understand the game we're playing, you know? Anyone who makes it to extreme and says, you know, you're stupid or you genuinely have bad taste and you should feel bad about it or something like that, that's not useful. They just don't understand, well, really how the world works. Like, subjectivity is implied. We can't even prove objective things are real at this point in our understanding of reality and science. So if they're going to say that and sort of bum you out about it, it's on them. It's not on you. But beyond that, I think that we can use that language and have those discussions for the sake of improving, for the sake of having a more interesting conversation, because as you increase the stakes or put more stuff on the line, conversations tend to become more interesting. And when they get more interesting, they have more of an energetic charge. And because they have more of an energetic charge, you will tend to have that conversation for longer, which will allow you to think about it longer. And if you think about it longer, your thoughts will tend to have more depth. And if they have more depth, they'll be more useful to you. So I think all of those are very good things, things that we would want. And as long as we understand the game that we're playing, I think it's great to have discussions of taste and say, that sucks, this is good. As long as we're all ready to shake hands at the end of it and say, just kidding, like everything that you like is fine, and keep liking it, because joy is in short supply in the world. So if something brings you happiness, like, you should cherish it. You should cherish it for as long as you love it. I hate Hollywood art. It's more like a product for sale, but there are some people out there that really feel that is art. Yeah, for them it is. And look, they're free to change their mind and have good taste whenever they're ready. So what do I need to imply? All right, so that tower looks much better to me. That feels more Gothic. Let's get a few more saints up here. Like cute anime girls? Yes. Yes. I'll destroy you, for the record. Just for the record. I think it should be clear that with all of my equanimity and my niceness that I just displayed, obviously the exception is if you like cute anime girls. That's just stupid. And that's beyond a problem of bad taste. Clearly. That transcends into another level. That's like, that's not you have bad taste, that's you're a bad person. So, obviously I wasn't talking about that. Certain things are so egregiously heinous that they're really not able to be discussed. And that definitely counts. Definitely counts. These damn literal flying buttresses that I drew, getting in the way of the problem areas that I need to draw. Oops. Look, sometimes you just got to get in there and you got to draw the damn architecture. You got to draw the scene. You got to do a little perspective. You just got to draw the frickin' thing. Unfortunately, sometimes you just got to get in there and you got to make the sausage. Let's just do 3 guys up there. There's no getting around it at a certain point. Bubble girl. What is the sketch you have put under the drawing here? See, it's this, well, basically the same scene. It was just my first pass at the environment. Where is it? This was my very first sketch. This is what we started the stream with. And then I put a bit of perspective breakdown over it to try to wrap my head around what the heck I'm actually doing, and to add an extension over on the left that I wanted to do. And this is the new version that I'm beefing out. Oh, I shouldn't have said the word girl. Damn it. Summoned 69mega.com immediately. Hey, M Lord, what up? What up? This is too high. It's like it would go there, then swoop. If I rotated it this way, so it wouldn't go any higher than about that. It's fine, Steven, it's fine. For an environment like this, it's like you can't expect even 2 passes in for it to be anything more than a sketch, than a first idea. If I really wanted it perfect, I could always give it to my wife to make a quick 3D model, or I could make it on my own, I guess, instead of burdening her. So this cutoff that I have here goes to the edge of that thing, so it's like up to there, and then over here, and we'll cheat it so that it's not tangent. And everybody gives me a big high five, and they're like, wow, Steven, that's great that you cheated so that's not tangent. I'm like, I know. We're like, and everyone's like, Steven, we're so proud of you, we want to give you an award. And I'm like, what, me, an award? And they're like, yeah, an award for you, the award for best smartest guy, super cool, super helpful, really good at art, the best at art award. And I'd be like, I love this award, thank you so much. Like, you deserve it, man. Wow. Hey, this is great. Do you guys want to go get gelato? It's like, yeah, we love gelato. We fucking love gelato. We love it so much. And we just want to get it with you. We just want to hang out with you, watch you try to get gelato. Now those would be off to the rest of the walled garden. So these walls go down, 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 down. Down, 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 and trees, 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 trees. Foliage, 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 hide all my problems. So there's trees on the outside here. And they could get pretty big if we want. Let's break this somewhere. I got my handy dandy vegetation brush. Yo, nice haircut. Yo, thank you. Yo, thank you. It's been around for a while. I think I got a cut last week or something like that. I gotta turn the, I don't want this. Where's the angle jitter here? No angle jitter, please. Hey Steven, love to see your stream again. I was wondering if there's any sort of schedule you try to stream on. I'm doing usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday these days. I might change that actually to like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, that's what we did this week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Because my wife is going to start working from home on Fridays. So I think we're going to take Fridays off and swap them with another day. How long has Steven been streaming? 1 hour and 52 minutes. And how long have I been drawing today? 4 hours and 40 minutes. I'm being a bad little Steven. As you know, I try to cut myself off at 4 hours, but I just can't help it sometimes. I just can't help it. I just love drawing so much. I just want to do it. I just want to draw all the time. I wish people would shut up. Shut up and let me draw. Alright, let's see how our piece is doing here. Let's get rid of the sketch underneath. Let's get rid of our layout. Let's get rid of these hideous perspective lines. And let's get rid of our overdraw on this buttress. All right, so I think what I'm still looking for here, where the heck's my drawing? Heyo, Steven, I know you recommend always drawing what you enjoy, but how would you recommend navigating that in a class setting where you won't always be drawing what you like? There's nothing you can do. I mean, if you've handed over some responsibility for your progress and your direction to a teacher, you got to do what they say. But be as creative as possible when it comes to looking for ways to bend their assignments to your desires, to the things that you actually like drawing. See if you can, don't just assume when they give you an assignment where your first reaction is like, oh, that's not fun, I don't want to do that. Don't just assume that. Take that very lightly. Literally get a stopwatch and put an hour on the stopwatch. And how radical is this? Tell yourself, I'm gonna sit and think for 2 hours. Or an hour. No YouTube on, no distractions, no music. I'm just going to sit and, I mean, don't you think your brain can do that? Don't you tacitly assume you can actively think? When was the last time you did it? When was the last time you actually thought as an activity? Try to actively, creatively think for an hour, which is nothing. An hour is nothing. You would screw off and do something you hate for an hour. For an hour, try to think only of a creative solution for a way to bend this assignment that you assume can only suck into something that you would like doing. Start there. You're an artist, ain't you? You creative, ain't you? You could sit and be creative, right? Hey Steven, I love the drawing. P.S. I want to start practicing my fundamentals. I've been holding off since I started drawing 2 years ago. I want to start, but I don't know, and I don't know how, and I can't afford a course. There's a lot of free content out there on YouTube. There's also a lot of free content in the form of PDFs of excellent old drawing books. So I would just download, not a lot. Don't waste days downloading as many as you can get your hands on. Download just a couple good ones, like a PDF of an old book on perspective or something like that. There's one I can recommend called what is it? Creative Perspective by Gut Pill. Let me look it up for you. Creative Perspective for Artists and Illustrators by Ernest Watson. Old book, PDFs of it everywhere. I'm looking at it on Google Books right now. Just download 1 or 2 books like that and just copy every drawing in the book. Don't just have the book. Actually go through it and copy and do every exercise in the book. And that will keep you gainfully entertained for at least a month, something like that. Steve, can I ask who did this start? And who did you knew that art and drawing was the thing for you? And that how did this start? And how did you know that art and drawing was the thing for you and that you could do it? Because I admire you for that, for your success, and you inspire me and others. Thank you, Kevin. I think for me, I think one of the biggest blessings I had is that I never doubted myself. I don't think there was a time I remember where I was like, now I really believe in myself. I always believed in myself, at least as far as I could remember. I always thought I could do it, and if I wanted to do art, I would be able to. I didn't choose art until I was like, I didn't choose art as a career. I've been doing drawing and stuff like that my whole life, and avidly my whole life. But I didn't choose art as a career until I was like 16 or 17. And that was more, that was less because there was a moment where I realized like, art is for me. And it was more like I realized science wasn't for me. It was like I took something else off the table. And then I said, all right, I'm going to do art. I'm free to do art now. Because they were serious competitors for me for a while. I was going to go into the sciences for a long time. Not because of like familial pressure like a lot of people unfortunately suffer these days. My family didn't put any pressure on me. I wanted to go into science because I wanted to like do weird stuff and look at theoretical things. And I went down that road for a while. And then when I realized what that job was really like, I did the opposite of what everybody else does. I looked at all the math in the sciences and I was like, it's pretty clear it's unrealistic to have a career in science. Much more realistic to have a career in art. So let's just do that. And thank you for the kind words, by the way. Yeah, so we need to get some foliage and topiaries. in these middle areas. Let's look for an overlap here. Always hunting for reasons to overlap things like the hard line on this pool here. Let me pull up some bonsai trees. Search maybe oldest bonsai trees. Oh yes. Oh yes, 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 yes. Oh my God, yes. That's some old boys. Steven, I tried drawing forms instead of shapes, and it is helping create things from imagination. I actually pretend I'm sculpting clay, but I'm actually drawing, and it worked pretty good. Hell yeah, man. That's like the whole point of my form from imagination course, is hunting for that feeling that you're actually sculpting something instead of drawing something. Getting the necessary factors in place enough that you sort of believe your own illusion. And it really is like you're pushing and pulling things. It really can feel that way. And as far as I'm concerned, it's the best way to draw. No problem, Kevin. Meh. And try not to get too obsessed with these since you'll see them more up close in the next shot. Do 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 do. Hey Steven, what's your opinion on NFTs, and would you yourself sell any in the near future? I have not sold NFTs. I'm not really. I'm not into it. We'll see what happens. But I am currently not into it. I don't. That also, it's just not. I mean, obviously all those things have their own problems, and we've all heard ad nauseum about the crypto problems and all that, but I'm really not into it because it's where I'm at in my life right now, my artistic career right now, is not, okay, so the NFT stuff, they always say, wow, it's freedom for artists. This is, you know, we can get away from the industries, everything like that. I never bought that for a second. It's just another market. It's just another freaking market. It's not about the middlemen showed up immediately. There's marketplaces that have front pages and everything like that. It was just clear to me right away that it was not freedom for artists. Anything that's based entirely on money and assigning value to assets and things like that, where other people are involved and it puts you in direct competition with other artists and things like that. It all just seemed, none of it seemed new to me. Everyone was acting like it was new. I was like, what's new? What's new here? It's the same damn thing that it always is. So if you agree with me that, or at least if you see that that how it's possible that I was interpreting it that way, that's why I was uninterested. I was like, that's not where I'm at in my life right now. Like, I'm not looking for more markets. I'm not looking for more market influences and wondering what people are going to buy and like, oh, well, this is the only one that they'll buy. These are the only NFTs that sell. And oh, the NFTs that sell are purple ones. I got to make a purple one. It's like, that's what I've been trying to get away from. I don't want that crap again in my life. So I didn't do it. I don't see that changing anytime soon. So I'm really not interested in it. I'm interested in what I do here and doing my thing and teaching and focusing on the core of art that I'm actually interested in and pushing against market forces and influences and trying to extricate myself from the hoary brambles of the slow hypnosis that the industries and culture and social media and everything have put us under to try to make us forget what it really means to make artwork and to be creative and to be happy and to not be constantly plagued with comparison and worrying about others and how much so-and-so is making when he's doing a similar thing to ABCD. Like, screw all that. Screw all of that. My feelings about NFTs were in there somewhere. I know that ranged far afield. So I won't be able to own my very own purple-haired anime girl NFT by the Steven Zapata. Well, if I ever enter dire financial straits, I'll make one of those. And you guys can fight over it. Like pigs at the trough, you guys can fight over it. All right, so there's our rough design. Do I really want to flip it and see how bad the cone of vision distortion actually is? I don't want to flip it. I'd rather not know. Because flipping really does it really makes cone of vision distortions look very odd. It just lets it pop right out. Let's see. Yui. It's that pool's near edge up front. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Oh, and I got a nice vertical line splitting the composition dead down the middle when I did the new perspective layout. I just plopped that buttress right in the middle. Just ever so slightly over to the right from center. Oh, well, screw 'em. At least the frames are working out. It may be a vertical line, but at least it's creating distinct frames. At least it frames... That's in a frame. This is in a frame. And then the whole left side of the comp tells one story, while the whole right side of the comp tells multiple stories. Classic setup. When you do perspective on paper, do you use rulers? Of course. Of course. They used to make us freehand it back at school to preen the school's ego. But you should absolutely use rulers. There's no reason not to use rulers. You go right ahead. They made us, I was kidding about why they made us freehand. They made us freehand because we were in a program and everyone was a beginner and they were trying to make us practice line weight and perspective at the same time. So as a way to get double mileage. But if you're not trying to do that, for the love of God, just use a ruler. Like your problems in perspective compound with every little error. So all the jitters in your hand, and no one has a perfect robot hand, nobody. They're just guaranteeing that things are getting slightly more off as you continue through the drawing. Yes, Warren, here's hoping. Here's hoping your reality becomes a... Here's hoping your dream becomes a reality. Are you enjoying the Kamvas 24 4K? How's your experience been so far with it? I just got one for myself. I do like it. I had to send one back. This is my second one. This one's fine. It doesn't have any of the light bleed problems I had with the first one. It's fine to work with. It has a couple little glitches that are consistent and kind of drive me crazy. Like every time I use the lasso tool on it, my Photoshop lags uncontrollably for some reason. It also, if my computer sleeps while it's plugged in, it crashes my whole computer. And it's just, it's doing it whether I have the newest driver, rolled back driver, whether the driver's open or closed. I don't know what that's about. Maybe that'll get fixed when Mac OS updates or something like that. But it does have some pretty irksome glitches, but working with it is fine. I like it fine to work with. It embarrasses me how long it took to accept that using the straight line tool and or straight edge is the obvious solution and I shouldn't have made up a rule about it. Yeah. This stupid this stupid art boot camp trying to be a Navy SEAL of drawing thing it bleeds into all of into artists' minds, and they take it seriously. We all do. I took it seriously too. And it's just so silly once you think about it, you know? Yeah, I don't know what that sleeping thing is about. And I know it's the Kamvas because if I unplug it and I let my computer sleep, there's no problems. It doesn't crash. But it's 100% of the time while it's plugged in. I don't know what that's about. Alright, so what am I going to do now? So let's say this could be our working file. So let me tuck let me get rid of, well, I'll crop that, but let me tuck other frames and the floor plan into the comp. So I have them there, and let us crop to the actual thing. Let me do this to the correct ratio, please. Correct ratio, please. And we don't, let's temporarily delete cropped pixels. Wow, he's mad out there. You hear that? You guys hear that guy honking? He is pissed. He's definitely right about something. Get that out of here. And let's see what we're at here. How big is this? 2164. Let's just make this, we're gonna do preserve details 2.0, the new preserve details, and we'll just make this 9K wide. Screw them, whatever. Just let that go for a bit. Your first Kamvas also had backlighting problems. Yeah, I mean, these cheaper LCD screens, it's almost like a crapshoot. You know, you just send them back, get a new one until you get one that just so happens the light bleeds. Not a big deal. All right, so now I can get rid of possible crop. We still want our perspective lines, of course. Floor plan, other frames. Let's do main sketch. Perspective layout we can keep just in case. Do I need this anymore? I don't need this anymore. This is just legacy niceness now. Just got that. Group both of these under extras. Just doing a bit of file management. So there's our second pass on that shot. When I do environments like this, and this is a pretty involved environment, especially freehanding since I didn't have 3D under it, you know, I was just sketching it from scratch. If you want a clean drawing, it usually takes me 4 passes. So this is pass 2. So I would say even at this stage, a lot is unresolved. Everything still needs to be designed, basically. There's still going to be perspective problems, misalignments, things like that. And the third pass after this would usually be... then designing everything that you discovered still needs to be designed. And then if you're lucky, after that third pass, the fourth one would be like final lines, final layout. But that's if you're lucky. You probably have to do 5. But when I do stuff like this, it's somewhere between 3 and 5. 3 on the luckiest day, if I need to get a clean result. Usually 4, and then 5 often. 5 with enough regularity that that's what it gets. If it's not so complicated, if it's less a thing of such scale, it could be less than that. But something with this many moving pieces, trees, an architectural layout, multiple architectural elements, statues, you know, a spire over there, these floating buttress things. There's a lot of different design elements in this one. Yeah, it'd take a lot of passes. It takes a lot of passes. Curious of the timer you shared with Med a couple streams ago. Do you remember the name of the company off the top of your head? Yeah, it's the same one I have, the Marathon timer. It's this one. If you just type Marathon timer into Amazon, it pops right up. I think it has a red button now. Mine doesn't have a red button. Just make sure that you get one that has a 24-hour limit. Sometimes you accidentally buy one that only goes up to like 8 hours or something like that. Or an hour, just an hour or something like that, and that's no good. 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 That is no good. It's no good. All right, so there's one. Let me export that version real quick. Real quick. Let me export that version real quick. Let me export that version. Let me export that version. I gotta export that version. I'm exporting the version. I gotta put out the JPEG. I gotta put out that 10 JPEG, yeah. Let's see what else we gotta do here. That needs to change based on everything we've done. We're working on that. That's pretty straightforward. That one we could just go in and do an actual pass to get it together. Hey Steven, do you ever draw any females? Unless they're a female version of me, never. I would never waste my valuable male energy on drawings of crass females. Timing roughs. Go down. What am I missing here? I got that one. Got that. Ah, that's the one I forgot. This one I have here. I knew I was missing one. Now it could get pretty annoying pretty fast too. Oh, do I really want to do the layout on this one right now? I just did a layout. Bit of a bummer to go from layout to layout to layout. Let's fix the Kona vision on this one, at least. Since I'm going to have to run soon. I'm going to go start cooking dinner, but until the time comes, let me start repairing the Kona vision on this one. Because I don't think there's anything super... There's nothing I would destroy about... There's nothing fancy about this sketch that... Like this one, I really wanted to maintain the wide view that shows the space and gets the weird arcs of the buttresses. This one, it's really not such a big deal now that I've established that with the other one. So let's save those for now. That guy can stay. Let me just lock him, put him away. There's our sketch. What resolution are we at here? 1920. So let's just make them slightly smaller. Oh, come on, stop bothering me. So we'll shrink, and then let's make this canvas much bigger. Clear that. And let's start fixing this. Janosch, how are you, man? I'm good. I am good today. Just drawn, did some good sketching today, good planning today. Did I draw all this stuff today? Did I draw that today? Not that, but the original sketch for that. I think I drew that today, right? I must have. When did I make these? Yeah, these are all today. Did drawn. Got a good podcast with my sister today for the for my Patreon. Good day, good day. And now I'm streaming, drawing, podcasting, streaming. It's the good stuff. Turned out to be a productive one. Say we're gonna do our horizon line there because I want those stairs to be a step up. Let me move my floor plan into view actually. Janosch is about to go get some sleep, get some rest. Man, you're doing it all. Yeah, today. I don't know how it works out that way. But it just turned out that way today. So I want those stairs to be a step up. So I'm putting the horizon line so that it cuts right through them. And let's get a... Let's just do it the old-fashioned way and put an actual... Whoop. Do I want it to get distorted out at the ends? And do I want to be looking right down? A lot of compositional decision making to be done here. There really is people from all over the world watching, huh? Yeah, that's the internet. The miracle of the internet. So let's see. All right, I'm gonna try to just tweak the stairs off to the left. Those buttresses were giving us problems, so let's try to get the cone to hold most of the buttresses. So we need a very wide cone of vision. Whoop. All right. Buys me a little time. Hold on. Let me talk to my wife. Just give me a second to talk to my wife. All right. I got a little longer to do this. Actually, let me get a... Let's do a cone of vision that is not dead center in the frame. Because life is chaos. Let's just get the center of our cone. Best entertainment, Steven? Yeah, I'm doing the... I've managed to avoid this on basically... I don't think I've ever gone this boring with doing perspective on stream before. I've always managed to avoid it. So entertaining. Just the... the real minutia of picking cones of vision live on the internet. Put it there. I wanted to get all the buttresses because those buttresses were pissing me off earlier. And let's do 60 degrees. Why not? Let's see if 60 looks right. If it looks odd, we'll do try 70 or something like that. About equal. That's about right. Are you figuring out VPs? Not even quite yet. I'm really seeing, I'm really first just trying to pick a station point and a cone of vision that will actually contain these awful flying buttresses that I designed in this scene. That's step one. me turn off my old VPs. I don't even know where the hell I put them. Bye, Janosch. Take care, man. Have a good night. Do. So, how's everybody doing? Don't mind me while I entertain myself doing the most boring thing in art. Pretty good. How am I? I am good. Getting hungry. Definitely getting hungry. Just waiting on my wife to get the signal to start cooking, to start dinner. Man, it's just not gonna work. Because the problem here is that I want to look down both. I want to look down both axes at once. And there's no way to do that without destroying the cone of vision and basically getting a 5-point perspective going on. It's just if I put it in a reasonable cone of vision, which makes the construction easier, I'm just only going to see a side wall of this narthex over here. And I'm not going to get to see its end wall over there with the trees in it. Let's try like let's see what happens if I push it up real wide. Let's do like 120. If 120 doesn't work, if it's still not wide enough, then I'm just gonna have to accept that I screw myself with my sketches, and I'll have to accept that I screw myself with my sketches, and I'll just do what I did on the last one, and I just won't, I'll just work in the skewed perspective that I sketched for myself. And that'll be that. Do you not want to deal with fisheye? I just want to be able to get a good... the fisheye is what I want, clearly, because this, or at least not clearly, but the sketch is showing me that that is what I want out of the scene. But I'd like to be able to get some reasonable perspective for some of the tricky stuff with these floating bits up there, because they came out, they're really troubling. This one's fisheye too, and the fisheye is making it really hard to map the actual proportions of those. Like this one even, I could tell that this should be like, this nearer one, because of how skewed this perspective is, should be all the way over here on this side of the comp. Like if I just continue it there, with how skewed the perspective is, it should be going out to like there. You know, that's really more like what's actually going on here. But that just looks so long and ungainly to my eye, you know, and it's all because I'm futzing with the it's all because I'm futzing with the fisheye. So I'd like to, just for my own knowledge, do one with a little bit more gentle a perspective construction, so that I can get a handle on these things just for myself. So what was I going to do? Right, let's try a 120. If the 120 doesn't work, probably not worth it, and we'll just freehand it over the skewed perspective that I sketched. I mean, we can still put a perspective underlay over it, but these vanishing points are going to be real close to each other inside of the comp. Which again, I say this all the time, but if you're a beginner, if you don't have a lot of experience with perspective, don't do it. Once you have experience, once you know, I've done so many of these, you know, I've done so many of these that it's not a big deal if the